wet the upper part of the paper to start this bright spring watercolor landscape. Here I'm using watercolor paper, 300 grams, cold press by Saunders Waterford. I take some ultramarine pigment and mix it with a lot of water to paint the sky. I'm using my big synthetic brush, Casanova by Da Vinci. It absorbs and gives away a lot of water. I apply pigment here and there. Since the paper is wet, the pigment spreads over the surface, creating beautiful spots with soft edges. For this painting, I'll be using ultramarine, cadmium yellow, and permanent green olive. Now I'm creating a mixture of ultramarine and green to paint the distant array of trees. Since it's far away from us, I'm making it colder and vague to create depths. The paper is still wet in this part of the paper. For more videos like this, please subscribe to my channel. Now I'm mixing all of my colors on the plate to create such bright, juicy spring green color and apply it for the other bottom part of the paper. To create depths, I'm adding cooler shades to the foreground using a mixture with a lot of ultramarine in it. Now I'm sprinkling the surface of the paper with salt. Once the pigment and the paper will dry, I will remove the salt. As the salt absorbs pigment and water, there will appear beautiful texture. I'm using here a kitchen fine salt, just for the foreground. I'm taking my smaller elastic synthetic brush that absorbs not much water, but gives away more pigment. And I'm mixing again my colors, but with ultramarine primarily. I'm painting some trees and bushes in the distance. And I want to show the unevenness of the ground. Using the same mixture, but with a little bit more green pigment in it, I paint some stripes here and there on still wet paper. As the paper becomes drier, I apply cooler shades in the distance. It's time to dry the paper so I would be able to continue. I'm using my small hair dryer for this purpose. The paper is almost dry. We don't need it to be completely dry. I'm creating a dark mixture with ultramarine and green, almost without water, and I'm painting the trees using the tip of my brush. I'm applying the mixture of green and yellow with a lot of water to paint tree leaves. Such beautiful spring colors. I drop some water drops to create interesting texture for my tree. The same process for the other tree. It's a little bit in the distance, so it would not be so contrasting like the first one. I'm starting with cooler shades and then continue with more yellow. Ultramarine for shades. With my tiny brush, I drop some water drops again. Here and there some spots with ultramarine. I see that there is some excess water accumulated on the leaves on the second tree. I use my pipette to remove this water. By using it, I'm removing just water, and the most of the pigment stays on the paper. I want to add one more trunk for this tree. I'm again using a concentrated mixture of ultramarine and green for it. More shades here and there. Now I'm removing the salt. Beautiful white spots appeared looking like white spring flowers. I want to add some more white flowers. I'm splattering just a little bit of white gouache. I'm knocking a brush with pigment against another brush to create these splatters. Be careful not to put the white dots on the trees and upper part of the paper. You can cover the part of the painting by paper to avoid the splashes in areas where they are not needed. But I will try to be careful. I'm also applying some white dots here and there using the tip of my smallest brush. Some grass using my mixture. Using my tiny brush and dark mixture of ultramarine and green, I'm painting flying birds in the sky. Just two tiny stripes to depict the wings of flying bird. I'm removing the tape. I hope you love that moment and the sound of the tape being removed as much as I do. And here we have a bright spring landscape. I hope you enjoyed the painting process. If you're painting with me, you're very welcome to post your artworks in my secret Facebook group for my patrons. There you can also find my extended videos and more. The link to my Patreon page is in the description box. Thank you for watching and for subscribing. Happy painting!